Welcome to this game of Mechabellum, fighting against a Chinese player. At least I think it's Chinese. And my options: Sabertooth, Elite, Amplify, and Typhoon Specialist. And Amplify starting with Void Eye and Fire Badger. A lot of HP. It's a good one, at least in my opinion. And Void Eye is quite strong right now. So even if I prefer to go for Phoenixes, nowadays I'm using a lot of Phoenix, I can also use other DPS units. Marksman Spec, Fortified, Training, and Rhino Specialist. Training could be a good one. Spider Phoenixes could be a good comp. Fortified with Saber Hounds, another option. This marksman starting with bows, not that great in my opinion. So you could end up selling the bows using the hounds with marksman. So, but I would probably go for training in this case. Training or fortified. Training has more HP too. So, yeah, my choice on his side would probably be training. But finally, he went for the one that I didn't like. Actually, he went for the one that I didn't talk about. The fourth one, Rhino's Back. It's a good aggro one. If you're starting with steel balls and crawlers, you can try to go for bow wraith aggro, but I don't think it's what my opponent's going to do. So his choice ended up being very strange for me. You go for an aggro pack, but you don't go aggro with them. Although you can use balls in the back right now too. With the kinetic charge, they can be used as DPS if you put them in the back. Gives them that, gives them range, so they will get a lot of range going forward. Strangely, he doesn't have the turn into crawlers deck. It's one of the best steel ball decks, and he doesn't have it here, which is kind of strange. You see me positioning here, as I usually do nowadays. I put Void Eyes right behind my Shaft Clear unit with Fire Badger, since the Fire Badger has low range. The Void Eyes will stay behind and target the same target, so you don't get the annoying problem of Void Eyes shooting at Shaft and Fire Badger just stuck on something heavy, like a Arc Light, a Steel Bow, or a Sabertooth when they are here, but there is no Sabertooth in this case. Void Eyes are very good against the Steel Balls. See, the Steel Balls are all dying. Arc Light's also getting targeted. And end up with 3 Fire Badgers still alive and a few Fangs. So doing quite a good damage on the first round. And I do have a lot of HP, more than him. Here we have Tarantula, the best sell. Actually, Mustang and Tarantula are the same, 200. Storms. I was fearing he would go for Storms, because they are very good against me. There's also Phantom, which is good for a sneak attack, which is what I will go for. And I was thinking, is he going to go Storms? I'm very vulnerable to it because Slow Shaft have Fangs in here. So Storm is good against Fangs. And Fire Badger is also not fast, nor is Void Eyes. And they do stay a bit close to each other, making them good targets for a Storm right in here. I need to put my Phantoms here, so they will go, destroy the tower, and then destroy the important tower. And here I think I will just start expanding my line. I was thinking where I was going to put it, then went back, bought one Void Eye and another Void Eye instead of getting a Fire Badger, because putting it here, it would go for this tower, which is not great. And one attack for the Void Eyes. Aggressive shots, which is quite annoying against steel balls. But my opponent started to sell them. Went for more arc lights. And as you notice, this replay is bugged. So the bug is back. Tower debuff. Guess that he went for oil, which can be quite annoying, but thanks for the debuff, my units are killing the shaft before they can arrive. But this steel ball managed to hit it, but everything is dead, so the fire didn't end up killing anything. But now I know he has oil, which can be quite annoying. Looking at here, Void Eyes don't need items, although I could put none of those in a Pipe Badger, but actually I can't. I already put Amplify. I just go for Advanced Power System, get to my opponent fast, and put one Prowler here. The thing about Sticky Oil Bomb is it will target the closest unit, so it will throw oil here, instead of throwing forward. Since it's closer to this shaft than it is to my other units. So at least until he gets more phantoms, I should be safe from oil. I'm also buying one marksman and putting it here, because I do lack some. If my fangs die, I wouldn't have anything here to kill the air, and I don't expect these phantoms to be uncountered. Even if I'm not going to sell them yet. Because many times the opponent will, when you do plays like this and put units very forward, the opponent will just, he's going to sell. Then he undercommit on the defense. And I did put one Prowler in here to try to advance and get his tower. If he just put Fangs like he did. Problem is, he also put one Phantom, which will throw oil at my Prowler here and slow them. As you can see. And slow it, they are free heal for the Fangs. Here, my strategy worked. No oil on my army. And with the pool on the side, slowing his crawlers, I will manage to get shots on his tower. One more. Tower debuff. Marksman killing the units. He did get some oil here, but not that much. And Marksman farming his phantoms. So, level for the Marksman. There is still a few things, so let's spit this forward. And I do have quite a few units still alive. Almost 3 packs of Void Eyes, 1 Fire Badger and 1 Marksman, and a few Fangs. So I would have 3000 more HP than he has. And here there is his margin, which is a good one. But a deployment. So I will start to get units to annoy him. You see, I'm going to redeploy my Phantom here. And I will put more units, I think, here. So it will pull all his units forward and my Phantoms will spawn and go for his tower. That's my idea with this play. Also getting levels on my units, level on the Marksman, so now it can one-shot the Phantoms. My opponent got his level 2 Rhino, but I do have quite a few Void Eyes. Even if no charged shot yet, because my opponent didn't have a heavy unit that warranted me to go charged shot. He will put... He also grabbed the redeploy, so he's moving his Phantoms forward. So they will throw oil in here. And there's also Rhino. So the Rhino will guarantee that the oil is triggered and will burn my units. You see me putting units here, expanding my attack, and this is pulling his units. One of his phantoms did aggro my phantoms in there. Rhino being annoying, but he changed position at the last second. They are fighting fangs here now, but only a few fangs left. But everything here died. The marksman's still alive, and it's taking way too long to kill those fangs. Without high explosive, phantom rays are not good at shaft clearing. Each missile only has 3 meters splash, so it's a very small splash. And bad round for me. Just need to kill my last phantom. First time I lose HP, so I still have quite a bit. And options. There is incendiary bomb, but I don't need this. But this could be useful. Should I drop? I can use it to protect myself against the oil. And he doesn't have a lot of DPS in here, so the shield can probably survive. I'm also going for air on my voids, so they can target the phantoms now and are protected against fire. You can see that I still haven't grabbed the squash. We will eventually, but the problem with squash is they can be destroyed and ignite the oil the enemy is using. So it's a very interesting counter to High Badger, going for oil on phantoms. Because you make your own opponent ignite your oil. You don't even need to buy units to do it. But you can see I did went for squashing, because he doesn't have a lot of DPS. There is the 5 Badger. Not the 5 Badger, the Phantoms. But even if they have good DPS, he's not investing on them to do DPS. You can see he's not grabbing levels. I did get a level on this Phantom here. I'm putting Shaft in front. I will try one more time this attack. My opponent went for Rock Wave. Kill my Shaft faster. This Rhino is still being annoying, and my opponent went for double attack on my backline, with balls on one side and crawlers on the other. You can see this side with the fangs, with the crawlers also actually worked, and my air voids are doing a great job in here. But 18 seconds of the buff. And a full pack here. But now he gets 9 seconds of the buff too. And he only has one marksman, which is about to die. So no anti-air. So even with the deep flank attacks here of my towers, it's level 2 tower here, so it was 16 seconds of the buff. But even with those, I still managed to win with the Void Ice killing the air faster. Don't have a lot of air and only one marksman. So he was not equipped to deal with all those air units. Here there is Mustangs, but there's a lot of fire, so Mustangs may not be a great choice in here. So I'll just go for Sabertooth cell. It's the best cell here, if you just want money. I am going for charged shot now because I need to kill this Rhino faster. And it also helps to kill the Voids faster, the Phantoms. It's level 2 Phantom here. I'm putting one Void Eye in here to deal with the balls. This deep flank here is working. this one here is also working. 5 badgers with squashing charge on the deep flank of the enemy is usually very good. Especially if he has crawlers here behind. Even if he put a rhino in here, the crawlers will still move here, and when they explode they will not kill the rhino, but he will kill the crawlers that are arriving. So if I was him, I was starting moving those crawlers away from here. I moved my crawler because it was doing nothing here. Just the 5 badger is enough. You can see it's pulling the units that I want. I did put crawlers to fight his crawlers. My voids are hitting the balls in here. He grabbed the mustangs, strangely enough. You can see here, his mustangs on the side just got exploded. The ones on this side are still alive, but not for much longer. You can see my void eyes are killing them. And just a few fangs to kill. And my opponent HP is getting very low. 500 HP. But very bad choice in my opinion going for mustangs. Especially when he's using oil. I am using exploding 5 badgers. Not a great combination for mustangs. They are very vulnerable to fire. Looking here. Photon coating could probably be useful. So that's what I'm going for. It's also very cheap. Levels for my voids. You can see they are getting levels. Level 3 voids. Lots of level 3 voids. You see me keeping this phantom here. It's doing its job. And I'm putting one level 2 5 badger with photon coating here. The idea being, it will be very annoying and it will kill his mustangs and all the chaff in here. Managing me to win this fight on this side and maybe grab his tower before this fight ends, which is probably not going to happen. You can see he has a lot of mustangs, which I said it's a bad choice. You don't want mustangs against exploding 5 badgers. You can see me putting a missile here, because his crawler has a level, and if you grab the level it will win heavily against my crawler. So one missile solved that. I don't want to level this, it's still level 1. I was trying to go for shields right at the end, but only managed to put 1. I'm going to put 2. You can see that he went for more rhinos with explosion, so explosive rhinos. Even if one 5 badger still survived, it wasn't triggered by the explosions, I managed to kill a few of the mustangs. Right side won quite heavily, as I expected. And with the debuff, I should be able to kill the surviving mustangs in here. And also surviving rhino. Another level 2 rhino still alive here. They have armor and final blitz, so very tanky. But I think I have more than enough units. A little more than enough to win. So his last attempt here with the exploding rhinos. You can see he started moving his crawlers away from here. Put the rhino with explosion. It didn't even need the explosion. With level 2 and armor, it's practically immune to the 5 badgers. But he didn't put one on this side, because I didn't have the 5 badgers before here. But the 3 rhinos here on the front line with explosion did quite a lot on my ground units. Killed most of my badgers. Only one survived and managed to explode on top of the mustangs. But if this had lasted, I would be obligated to go for a unit that I don't like. If this game hadn't ended right now, I would have to grab a hacker. Because it's the answer to Rhino with Final Blitz. if they are not dying instantly. I could also try to go for missile here, so they would be insta-locked for my... They would be slowed and insta-locked by my Void Eyes and be destroyed fastly, but my opponents could counter missiles. With anti-missiles or shields, there's quite a few options. So my best choice here was going to go for Hacker. Hack his Rhinos with the tech to get them back to full HP, and the Hacker would go toward his units, and I think it would explode because he don't have enough DPS to kill a Rhino. So I would grab his Rhinos and stomp him, because the Mustangs would do nothing against a level 2 Rhino with armor enhancement. His Phantoms will die to my Void Eyes quite easily. And he don't have a lot of Phantoms. Only 3 Phantoms. And there's nothing else that do DPS here. Arclight don't have DPS, and he has a lot of Shaft, which also don't do any DPS. So my opponent has quite a lack of DPS in his army. So if I grabbed his Rhinos for me, it would be over for him. It would do a lot of damage. But it ended right here. It was not needed, thankfully, because I don't like using hackers. I don't like the unit, and I think it should be banned. Not banned, destroy it. Repurpose it. Change how the hacker works. I don't have ideas for that, but I could think on it. You just need to have the Final Blitz. Also remove Final Blitz, and you are done. You don't need hacker for anything. Because Final Blitz is only the few techs that if you are on a headbutt against your opponent, you kind of need the hacker to deal with it. But if there is no Final Blitz, you don't need hacker, and you can remove it. But enough rambling about hackers. So, hope you enjoyed this game. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.